What goals did you set for 2025? If better sleep is one, Symbiotica's magnesium L-threonate helps you wake up refreshed. For gut health, their glutathione supports digestion and reduces bloating. Symbiotica is one of the most transparent brands out there, never compromising on quality or sourcing. Their products are free from seed oils, preservatives, toxins, and artificial additives, something you can taste and feel in every packet. Go to Symbiotica.com and use code iHeart for 20% off and free shipping. That's Symbiotica.com, code iHeart.
Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds.
Recently, I asked Mint Mobile's legal team if big wireless companies are allowed to raise prices due to inflation. They said yes. And then when I asked if raising prices technically violates those onerous two-year contracts, they said, "What the f*** are you talking about, you insane Hollywood ass?" So to recap, we're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month.
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.
I mean, I read the books, and honestly, it's not even good fantasy.
You're fucking crazy.
I know. That's what everyone tells me, but I couldn't even get through the last one.
Okay, well, I'd certainly agree that he needs a better...
All aboard!
Editor?
Eli, what are you doing?
Just getting ready for this week's episode. It's all about boats.
Where did you get the boat?
Heath's family has one. It turns out they're the kind of poor that has enough money for boats, but not enough money for someone else to drive it. Isn't that fun?
Hey, did we hit some? All right. God, I quit the boat.
Oh, Heath. Oh.
Okay, I know this is going to sound like a crazy question, but our studio's it's like in the middle of Chicago. How did you get a boat?
Ha! I told you guys.
I told Noah he couldn't build a ramp that would make this possible, and he loves a good ramp challenge.
Do love a good ramp challenge.
Classic Noah.
Okay, well, our studio is destroyed, and I'm pretty sure you killed the entire Zumba class next door.
Okay, so pros and cons.
Thank you, Tom. Best friend, Tom. Positive.
I thought Cecil was your best friend.
Yeah, but I'm mad at him right now. Wasn't excited about my boat.
Oh, hello. I didn't see you there. Welcome to the Citation Needed. The podcast where we choose a subject, read a single article about it on Wikipedia, and pretend we're experts. Because this is the internet, and that's how it works now. Unless we go buck wild and decide to do double the work, which happens more often than I'd expect, which is once so far. Anyway, I'm Noah. I'm going to be steering this ship to shore this week, but I can't do it alone. It's going to take the whole crew. So first up, welcome the first mates, Tom and Heath.
Hey, first mate beats sloppy seconds every time.
I actually like sloppy seconds, though.
What?
The moisture is a nice change of pace as well.
Oh, God.
Once in a while. And, of course, also joining us tonight are Seaman, Eli, and Cecil.
Pale, milky, hard to get off your hands. I get it.
I have two similarities to Seaman. I look good in a cravat, and in order to get me out of it, you have to use cold water.
All right, so before we weigh anchor and head out to certain doom, we want to thank all the people that keep the barnacles off our backsides, our patrons. If you'd like to learn how to join their ranks, be sure to stick around until the end of the show. And with that out of the way, tell us, Eli, what person, place, thing, concept, phenomenon, or event will we be talking about today?
Today, Cecil will be giving us a twofer. Two separate boat disasters, the PS General Slocum and the SS Eastland.
All right, and Cecil, you read 2 whole Wikipedia articles on these subjects. Are you ready to boom your rudder into our jibbing?
That's the nicest anyone's ever asked, actually.
How often do you get asked that?
As a seaman, you'd be surprised.
Keep the rudder there. I'll move the jibbing towards the rudder. All right, so I guess tell us about the General Scrotum and Sheena Easton, or whatever it was.
All right, so we're doing 2, so let's start out with the PS General Slocum. The ship was built in 1891, and it was a passenger steamboat that ran a route on the East River in New York. The boat was a pretty good sized vessel, coming in at 235 feet long. That's 72 meters, by the way. And
Thank
it was
you.
37 feet wide, 11.4 meters.
To the 10th. All right, I'll give it to you.
All right, so is pretty good size here like a pity inspired penis compliment, or was it actually a pretty good size boat?
Wait. Are we like supposed to be turning down pity penis compliments now?
No.
Nope.
Okay.
Solid. Yeah, 'cause that's confusing. People won't understand. Some people hear that a lot. It's a good compliment. It's weird to say it like it's a bad thing. It's weird. Right? It's unclear.
So I'd tell you how heavy the boat was, but Heath would totally get mad at me. So I'll just say it was like the Earth in the Tycho Brahe episode. Pretty fucking heavy.
There you go.
That's actually the caption for every picture of me with a girlfriend. Pretty fucking heavy. Pretty fucking heavy, yeah. Been punching above my weight for years, or below, or whatever it is.
Yeah, right.
Good times.
Yeah, hey, been meaning to talk to you about that, Heath. Stop punching your girlfriends. Just stop, or taking the pictures.
I'm saying sex.
No, dude, you shouldn't.
I'm saying sex with me, it's like beating a clumsy fat kid in boxing. Like, you win against me. It's easy to beat me at boxing.
Hey guys, do you want to spend a couple $100 million seeing who would win in a fight, the best boxer of all time or a clumsy fat kid?
So the ship was named after a Civil War general, one of the winning ones.
Yeah, okay, real quick, Eli. I'll give you my car if you get this. Can you name a general for the North in the Civil War? Any general in the North, Civil War.
Okay. Jebediah.
Nope.
Snapchat.
So close.
Was
So
it?
close.
Eli shows up to the battle and disappears 15 seconds later.
I feel like the letter's J.
No, he's from the North, Tom. He's from the
Get a
North.
chance.
Eli, why wouldn't you read off the script later?
What script?
The one you wrote Jebediah Snapchat in.
It was Congressman Henry Warner Slocum already. Jesus.
See, that's
Sorry.
Sorry.
So the ship
Congressman Henry Warner Slocum.
So the ship had a lot of smaller mishaps that led up to the horrendous one we're going to be talking about later. 4 months after the Slocum launched, it ran aground. 3 years later,
Hanky Slokes. Sorry.
3 years later, it hit a sandbar with 4,700 passengers on board. It hit it hard enough that the generator went out. Then the next month, during a storm, the Slocum ran aground off Coney Island, probably trying to get a hot dog. Finally, in late 1894, the Slocum collided with another ship on the East River.
Jesus, this is starting to sound like the Seventh Fleet.
Look, I'm not
Star Wars.
superstitious, but can we just decide this ship is fucking cursed, call it a death boat, and sink it? Like, sink it without people on it?
Oh, okay. No, we can't do that.
We were getting there.
So I'm not done yet, though, by the way. In
Jesus.
1898, it hit another boat near Battery Park. Then
Jesus
in 1901, it was carrying 900 drunk passengers. That also happened to be anarchists from New Jersey.
Redundant.
Yeah, drunk and anarchists were. Yeah.
Some of these intoxicated dissidents started a riot and tried to take control of the Slocum.
Yeah, I honestly can't imagine what else you would expect with a booze cruise of anarchists.
Get what you pay for, I
This
guess,
is
yeah.
what they're. This is exactly the fuck.
So the crew,
You had to see that coming.
old-timey fought them, I guess, and maintained control of the ship. And when it docked, the police took 17 men into custody.
Ears were boxed.
I want to point out that this is only of note to Cecil because he hasn't ridden the Staten Island ferry on a Friday. This is just, now they're just like, oh my God, it's the Jersey fucking anarchists again. Just go hide in the bathroom.
And by the way, what was the Jersey militia gonna like do with the boat?
Right?
Like park it behind a convenience store and smoke cigarettes? Like take their pirate ferry over to a Navy yard, start bumping battleships in the shoulder to start a fight?
That actually seems like the second most likely possibility. Yes.
So, okay, so were those all the pre-disasters, Cecil?
Oh, I'm not done yet.
Jesus.
In its final mini disaster, before the big one, in 1902, the Slocum ran aground while carrying 400 passengers. The boat was unable to be freed, so the passengers had to stay there overnight in the boat.
Oh, Jesus Christ. It's like this boat pissed off a gypsy or something.
She just brushes its hull. Swimmer.
Racist. Everyone knows the Romani can't swim. That's a weird thing to say, Eli, about real victims of the Holocaust. Offensive.
Heath, just because you drown a Romani woman doesn't mean they can't swim. That's not how that works.
Isn't it? Can they swim after that?
She's not. How is she supposed to swim?
Well, not after.
That's float, not swim. Different.
So in 1904, the Slocum was chartered by the St. Mark's Evangelical Lutheran Church for $350. It had been something that the church had did every year for the last 17 years. There were over 1,400 passengers on the boat, mostly women and children, and it was headed to a picnic site in Eaton's Neck, Long Island.
Mostly women and children, huh? This is probably just going to be a parallel parking accident. Because women are bad drivers. That's the
children
joke.
are bad drivers, right? Because that's the...
Because, no, this story took place in 1904. It's okay for him to make that joke.
Tom's going to get fired from Google and be famous. Hey, Tom, I got some advice. If you want to prove you're not a sexist, go on a cult leader show right after you get fired for being a sexist. That way everyone knows.
So as the boat passes East 90th Street, a fire broke out in the lamp room.
The lamp room. Colonel Mustard in the lamp room with the fire. It's his mystery solved. It's done.
Candlestick. People suspect that it was a cigarette or a match that started the blaze. So,
usually is.
So in the lamp room, there was some straw, oily rags, and lamp oil that caught fire.
Why?
Okay. Why the fuck do people have oily rags? Multiple oily rags. I need to wipe this table, but I don't want to oil an entire rag. That's a whole thing. I need to save a collection of these. What?
This next sentence from Wikipedia explains very concisely how the fire spread. It was reported in several places, quote, including a paint locker filled with flammable liquids and a cabin filled with gasoline. End quote.
What? Jesus Christ.
All right. So look, 2020 hindsight, but maybe a lamp room filled with all the results of things that can catch on fire on the $10,000 pyramid was not a good idea.
Thermite, loose gunpowder, the liquid covering Houston.
Things on this boat. Things on this boat.
You guys are all just mad because Cecil didn't pick the fire extinguisher factory for his essay. Probably also would have caught on fire.
All right, so the onboard recreation of the Texas Gulf Coast is blazing away. How long does it take to ruin the party here?
A 12-year-old child did tell the captain, but the captain didn't believe him. 10 minutes later, when provided the empirical evidence necessary, he changed his mind.
Kid comes back on fire. See? Evidence.
A true skeptic. Bravo. Bravo.
So the ships back then didn't really have a lot of rigorous safety guidelines.
No shit. See, paint locker filled with flammable liquids and cabin filled with gasoline above.
The passengers here are doomed from the start. The fire hoses on this boat are old, really old, and they had rotted. So when they tried to put out the fire, the hoses literally fell apart.
Oh, Jesus.
You turn to the guy next to you. You're like, all right, you got to admit, this is kind of funny, right? Not funny, haha, but like...
Try to shoot the fire extinguisher, just a flag pops out, says splash. No.
The crew on this boat had never even practiced the fire drill, and the lifeboats were so tied up as to be inaccessible. It's claimed that they were painted and wired in place.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
The life preservers were seriously only called that because they resembled something like it in shape. They were so old that, like the hoses, they fell apart. The life preservers sat on the deck for 13 years, subjected to the elements. Here's another gruesome quote from the article. Quote, desperate mothers place life jackets on their children and toss them into the water, only to watch in horror as their children sank instead of floating.
Okay, I have a problem with this, though, because it's the word children, right? Like, after the first kid hits the ocean floor, maybe it'll huck the rest of them into the deep.
But they disappear, so you don't know. You don't know they're in there. They just.
Well, you're trying to make a pile. If you want to make a pile, you've got to keep.
Maybe one can stand on all the other one's shoulders.
Oh God! You just need one really big trench coat, and the kids will be fine. But I have a question, because I feel like elements or no, a life preserver will at least float, right? I mean, like snow and rain are water, and I don't feel like wind erosion is a big factor. So what the fuck were they subjecting these life jackets to?
I mean, to be fair, this was the olden days. No, I don't know if you know this. I know everything about boats. Life jackets back then, they were just balloons. Not a lot of people know that. They were just balloons.
Oh, I see.
Yeah. There's just a kid standing on the burning ship, staring alternately between the water and the balloon giraffe that's supposed to be his life preserver. Like, fuck.
Okay, but regardless of like the erosion or whatever happened to these jackets, why would the kids actively sink? What was happening? Like, did they have bronzed novelty only display jackets on the deck?
Spoilers! Back then, they did have regulations on how much cork you had to have in a life vest. They decided that it should weigh a certain amount. So to get around this,
want a light life jacket.
To get around this, the manufacturer of the life preservers just put iron bars inside the cork to meet the minimum weight requirements.
Are you
Whose idea is this at the factory? Like, yeah, great. Good plan. We'll save this is the most ghoulish thing I've ever heard.
It's even better, though. It gets even better because the cork, this is powdered cork. So when they jumped in the water, the canvas on the life preserver just disintegrated, and then the cork just floated away, and it left these heavy wet canvases filled with circular iron as they just fucking plummeted to the bottom of the steps.
Hey, but at least the market was free. Am I right? Am I right?
We could be great again.
Mom, why does it say dental life jacket on it? I feel like they got the wrong ones. It says radiation, no, it's lead? This contains lead? This jacket, this life jacket?
Well, were these manufactured by fucking Acme Corporation? How much at this point? What the fuck was the whole ship a Roadrunner cartoon? Was the captain just meep meep?
Oh God. So the people also didn't know how to swim back then, and they were wearing heavy wool. So when they jumped in, the lead preserver or not, they just sunk.
People didn't know how to.
That's what it says in the article.
Are you saying that we discovered swimming sometime after 1904?
I guess.
I don't know. Did you, Noah?
That's racist.
Yes.
Wait, is that racist?
It is.
Science.
I don't know. I feel like if you think that's racist, then maybe you're the racist.
Wait,
I just called it
racist.
I feel like you switched that on me. You totally reversed that on me. You tricked me. Tom tricked me. And I didn't. We edit.
Noah, what year did the first guy swim? And what was that day like? Where the guy walked out in the ocean and you were like, oh, he's sacrificing himself to Mother Sea. And then he came back and he was like, I feel fucking great.
It's like, guys got to try this. Move your arms and legs in there. It's holy shit.
Or just hold still.
So much better than drowning.
I think it probably has to do with polio. That's just a guess. I don't know.
Take off all your iron clothes before you jump.
Yeah, it's either an iron lung or an iron preserver. I don't know. Are they both iron preservers? I don't know. Anyway. So the captain, undeterred by this boat being on fire at this point.
There's just like one of those junk guys who comes along after the garbage pickup and just like dives down. Like, gets all the corpses. I don't think they're using this one anymore. We'll take this back. It's recyclable.
The captain, undeterred by his boat being on fire at this point, decides not to run aground or stop at a landing nearby. And he fanned the flames as it sailed into the headwinds.
Oh, Jesus Christ.
Later, he argued that he didn't want to burn any buildings on the shore.
Well, plus he wasn't no pussy.
Yeah.
Also, I get that. Nobody wants that conversation with Allstate. Like, oh, so they drove a giant flaming boat into your house. Yes. God. Stop going back to that.
This is like 1904. Somebody on that call definitely makes a joke about the model of the boat being a Jewish Lightning. There's no way everyone on the call misses that. That's a model of boat, the Lightning. I didn't say it was the people on the call. I feel like you guys abandoned me there. The people on the call said that.
Sorry, we weren't on the deep cut for those boat jokes.
Missile, laser, lightning. It's one of the models. Fuck you guys. You guys are anti-Semitic.
Yeah, Eli. You talk about killing a Jew on your birthday all the time.
Yeah.
It's all I want.
It's like after the disaster, like the claims adjuster just comes out. He's like, I'm not sure what to check on the form that does the thinking. Claim denied. I don't know. Claim denied.
Okay, so I'm going to go out on a limb here, Cecil. Everybody drowns?
They're not all so lucky, Noah.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah.
What?
Here's another great way to die on the Slocum. Quote, many died when the floors of the overloaded boat collapsed. Others were battered by the still turning paddles as they tried to escape in the water or over the sides. End quote.
Okay. The same guy as the hoses is like, come on, Alan, battered by paddles? You don't think that's a little funny? Alan.
Okay,
Alan, wake
what
up.
about the sinking kids? They went straight down. Come on. Straight down. Did you see the looks?
You can't even
faces?
skip them no
Come
matter
on.
how hard you throw those kids. So I got 2 bounces off the little one, but that's the best I can
You
do.
got to spin around first. You hold them by the ankles and spin around first.
Like a baby
Centripetal.
discus.
Yeah, exactly.
All babies are discuses if you try hard enough.
I love this boat. Like, I like the options, you know? It's like not like one of those all-inclusive death boats that like lures you to cheap prices and only one way to die. Lame.
So the estimated death toll was 1,021 of the 1,342 people on board. The captain was the only person convicted for criminal negligence. He was sentenced to 10 years, and he spent 3.5 of it in Sing Sing before being paroled. Later, he would be pardoned by the Taft administration.
Huh? Well, that sounds hauntingly topical. And, I guess we still have one more boat to sink, but before we sit right back and hear a tale of another fateful trip, we're going to take a quick break for a segment we like to call Apropos of Nothing. I'm sorry, like is a strong word, but that's what we call it. We pretty indifferent.
Yar, the sea can make a man yearn for the days.
Sorry,
when-
Captain. Where do you want these cans of gasoline?
Put him in the lamp room, you scurvy dog.
Aye, aye, Captain.
It makes me yearn for the days when a man could sit
Captain, where do you want me to put the gunpowder shipment?
below the decks, you fool.
That's all full down there.
How about the lamp room?
Aye, sir, lamp room.
When a man could set his sail. And
Daddy, I want to play juggle these matches, but the other passengers are all being mean to me.
the lamp room, my boy, the motherfucking lamp room.
Okay, Daddy.
Set sail and see the world. Fuck, yar.
All right, now, if we's gonna rent this here boat for our church picnic, we gotta make sure first and foremost that it's gonna be safe for everybody. So you ever been in any kind of accident?
Psh, accident. Anyway, that'll be $350. And if you want the special bonus...
Hold on. Now, I feel like you didn't answer Beauregard's question.
Well, I assure you, my good sir, we don't have a perfectly safety record for nothing.
So, you have a perfect safety record?
No, I said don't. But we haven't not had an accident in years.
Wait, I'm confused. How long has it been since the last accident y'all had?
Oh, time intervals. Hundreds of them, my friend. Hundreds.
Is that are those like months?
They are like months. I like you. Smart. This one. Best friends.
We'll take it, yeah.
So, Cecil, we've only had one disaster, unless you count Tom's life choices, and we were promised
I'm right
to.
here.
Jesus.
I'm in the fucking show with you. Fuck.
All right, so we did a disaster in New York. Why not balancing it out with something a little closer to home?
Oh, okay. So Heath and you are working at this toy company, right?
I know, maybe a disaster a little less close to my home, maybe close to Cecil's.
Not to be outdone, Chicago wanted to get in the burgeoning boat disaster market. So in 1902, a steamship called the SS Eastland was built. The boat had some flaws in its design. It would become top heavy when people were on the upper deck en masse.
Okay, if this boat sinks after everybody takes a shit on the upper deck, I'm going to be super happy about this story.
Me too.
Right? I feel like they could have taken a page from the Weebles Boat Factory, right? Be all right.
Yeah, when the Weeble has more technology in it than your boat. I mean, the passenger boat is fine as long as there aren't a bunch of people on it. Is that what we're saying?
Well, on top of it, if you put them under the boat.
Like they can, as long as they're very well spaced.
No games of Red Rover on the boat.
In 1903, the Eastland had one of these problems when it had so many people on the upper deck that it listed, filling it partly with water in a portent of things to come.
Important things to come.
Okay, question. When you studied allegedly Shakespeare, what language was it in that you studied?
Shakespearean. I think that's Spanish.
So one final amusing factoid about the Eastland. In 1903, it was traveling to Michigan from Chicago.
Yeah. Intentionally traveling to Michigan is pretty amusing. I get it. It's funny. 6
of the crew refused to continue working because, as they claimed, they did not receive potatoes for a meal.
Just want to say before you go on, I'm with these guys. All right?
Right?
Because fuck that.
My people. These men were arrested at gunpoint, and the other workers basically picked up the slack, and when they docked, the 6 men were charged with mutiny.
Yeah. Little did they know how easily those Chicagoans would have been won by a handful of popping corn. People love your popping corn.
Or a hollowed out tauntaun full of marinara sauce.
Is your mom in town?
Speaking of which, Heath, are you going to finish yours?
Your mom.
Your mom.
I am. That's not the point. I am
she
going to
says
finish
she
it.
never finishes. I guess that's what I'm saying.
I finish every time. Perfect record. Just finished again.
So on July 24th, in 1915, the Eastland and a few other boats were chartered to take a company's employees to a picnic in Michigan. The company was Western Electric. This was, as the article notes, a very big deal to these workers as they didn't have holidays off. So it says it was, quote, a major event in their lives, unquote.
Jeez. So at least we don't have to feel sorry for them when they drown or get paddle battered to death, right? I mean, that's way better than what they had. This was probably on their vision board.
Battered. Cool vision board. What's that next to the Nobel Prize? Oh, it's a hot dog with ants crawling on it. That's what I'm hoping to eat at a picnic that I won't die on my way to. Hope it works out.
So the world had learned a little bit about boat safety in the intervening years, specifically after the Titanic had sunk 3 years earlier. So now there was a regulation about how many lifeboats you had to have.
Okay. Nothing about like anything else. Nothing about better brakes or only boating through liquid water. Knife fights need more band-aids. It feels like you tackle a few other issues. They're not getting at the source.
With the addition of these lifeboats, there's a problem, of course. And these boats are strapped to the top of an already top-heavy boat with a predilection for listing.
Oh, just a boat boring you at dinner. Well, Spielberg has made a ton of great films. E.T. is pretty obvious. People know him from Schindler's List, but he also made Jurassic Park and Jaws. People forget he made Jaws, right? Because they consider it.
Are you listing things?
Yeah, listing. Predilection for listing.
You knew predilection, but not listing?
I sure didn't. Context clues.
So that morning, the passengers began boarding, and in 40 minutes, the boat had reached capacity. It had 2,572 passengers on board. The boat started listing. The crew tried to use ballast water to right the ship on its port side, But then a number of passengers rushed to the port side and the boat just literally fell over.
Wait, they're still at port. Like the boat hadn't even boated yet. It's just a platform not to drown on right now.
And how does a boat just like fall over? Had we not developed sippy cup technology yet? What are they doing?
So now, is there any, do we know why everybody rushed over to the one side, or?
So there's nothing from the wiki page, but I was on an architectural tour here in Chicago.
Nerd.
And the tour guide told a story that I don't know if it's true or not, but I want to summarize. She said that the people on the deck of the Eastland all ran over to one side because there was a clown performing. Now, when she told the story, she implied that the people rushed to see the clown, but I like to think that they were all running away from Pennywise. I think that that's a funner story. So,
Yeah, no, I've done clown work. That is definitely bullshit. That is a bullshit story.
Okay, 2 vital things. 1, everybody picture Noah as a clown.
It's the angriest clown.
2, I actually buy the
Standing around just smoking.
It's a stupid ass question to ask.
Well, no, because when you smoke, they can see it in the balloon animal later. It looks cool.
2, I am actually convinced by this because in 1914, pretty much everyone was like today's 6-year-olds, so it makes sense.
But regardless, the boat's like taking on water and people are like, yay, big shoes on the other side. I feel like even a 6-year-old would be like, okay, maybe I'll calm the fuck down until the boat isn't sideways, then clown. Yes, absolutely clown. But after.
Well, I don't know. Is there juggling? Like if there's juggling, it's worth it.
Not after the listing now.
So it tips over. And since it was a cold morning, a lot of people were already below deck. Well, these people are trapped and they're also crushed by heavy furniture, bookcases, pianos. The ship did this play dead thing only 20 feet from the wharf. And there was a nearby vessel that offered to help right away, but 844 people still died.
Jesus.
How does it sink that fast? I'd like to know how many Jewish people called out of work that day from this boat.
Just asking questions.
Just asking questions. Thank you, Eli.
Look, I'm sorry, but like, I'm having a hard time being sympathetic. You can't swim 20 fucking feet? Okay, fine. If you're crushed by the piano, if you're that guy, I'll give you an out. But I feel like otherwise, you're just fucking lazy. It's 20 feet. You're fucking 5 feet long, right? Like,
had they invented swimming at this point, though? I feel like this is still before.
This is early. This is pre-swim.
Yeah, Noah, did they? So there were so many dead that they had to create makeshift morgues all over the city. The building that is now the Bar Excalibur and Harpo Studios, where Oprah records her shows, were both used in this way.
And you get a cadaver, and you get a cadaver. Back in the
Look
day.
under your seat.
it's hard to wedge him under there, but not that hard.
Yeah, not that hard to pull him back
It's
out.
ever happened at either location. I just want to say
That's true.
Still trying to beat that record.
Yeah, weirdly braggy, Cecil. Just, where Oprah films her shows. Yeah, another point for New York in the New York versus Chicago contest. If I can throw that out there.
It's kind of
People keeping score at
It's kind of
home.
a dick move to continue keeping score at this point. It's like Mercy Rule now. Like the Little League World Series ended in Mercy Rule. Let's just call it.
All right, so one of the people scheduled to ride the boat was George Halas, the founder of the Chicago Bears. He was late that morning and he arrived after the boat had already capsized, like Jay Cutler.
Fun fact, inventor of cutlery.
Nope. Is underachieving Trump supporting douchebag, yes. That only has a job because the Dolphins think Colin Kaepernick's a terrorist. Also, yes. Not the inventor of cutlery.
So the story was highly publicized in the media, and one journalist gives it a really interesting firsthand account. Quote, as I watched in disoriented stupefaction, a steamer as large as an ocean liner slowly turned over on its side as though I were a whale going to take a nap. I didn't believe a huge steamer had done this before my eyes, lashed to a dock, in perfectly calm water, in excellent weather, with no explosion, no fire, nothing. I thought I had gone crazy.
I feel like this comment misrepresents normal whale behavior. I don't think that's a thing.
But I feel that guy, though, right? That moment is just like, all right, the boats are all the... Whoa, pff, well, fuck, I only have 2 wishes, and now I have to use this power well.
Yeah, I got to go back to the whale thing. Like, is that simile supposed to add clarity somehow? Like we can all just flash back now to our mental repository of napping whales and be like, oh, yes, I see it so clearly in my mind's eye now.
Well, I feel like there's something we're not being told. Blubber doesn't burn that hot, is what I'm saying. There's something else happening.
So Carl Sandburg, who's a popular poet, well, as popular as a poet can be, I guess, wrote articles about it, accusing the company and regulators of ignoring safety concerns. He also wrote a poem about it called The Eastland, which is, I guess, something people did before we had sex for fun. Or
Hey, poets have sex for fun just by themselves a lot. It's just...
hey, look, guys, a poem is an echo asking a shadow to dance. Nobody else with a my favorite Carl Sandburg quote based joke? Do I have to do all the heavy comedic lifting on this show, guys?
I'll have the dressing on the side. Carl Sagan. He probably said that at some point.
Different.
No, I got this. Fuck land. I'm on a boat, motherfucker. Andy Samberg. It's actually pronounced Andy Samberg, Noah. And speaking of boats, segue, crushed it. Cecil, you were saying.
So there's a grand jury, and they indicted 3 officers and the president of the steamship company for manslaughter. The defense counsel was Clarence Darrow.
Oh, cousin of mine.
That's true.
Interesting.
The court did not extradite these people to Michigan for trial because they felt that the evidence was weak, quote, barely a scintilla of proof.
All right, so Cecil, if you had to summarize what you've learned in one sentence, what would it be?
The only people that like New York live in rural Pennsylvania.
It's because we can't afford New York. Are you prepared to face a gauntlet of questions from the panel?
I am as ready as a turn of the century life preserver.
All right, let's get ready to sink.
All right, Cecil. So obviously, when stupid people drown, it's generally good for eugenics, right?
Here we go.
Speaking of eugenics, which of the following is the best boat name for people who use hashtags like MAGA and MAGA?
Were we speaking of eugenics? I don't feel like that's a good... Nobody was doing that but you.
I brought us right to eugenics. I said when stupid people drown, it's generally good for eugenics. Speaking of eugenics, that was natural. That's a weird question by Tom. Okay. So which of the following is the best boat name for people who use hashtags like MAGA and MAGA? Is it A, the SSSS?
It's so good. It's so good.
Nazi boat. Is it B, Hood over heels? KKK. Heels like waves. There's a lot of layers to that one. Is it C, the Amistad?
That's racist.
Right, make
That's
Alabama great
racist.
again. Or is it
Super
D, the alt starboard?
That's fucking brilliant. The alt
Starboard. That's my favorite thing he's written down today.
gosh. I'm going to go with the SSSS.
That is correct. It was the SSSS.
All right. Cecil, are you ready?
I am.
Why was Cecil allowed to do 2 topics even though we said we could only do 1 per show? Is it A, he edits the show? B, I am a fatty pants.
I think the audience could choose my answer for me there.
So ever since the heartbreaking story of the Titanic's band playing through the entire disaster, every sinking boat has tried to outdo the last one with better drowning music. So what is generally considered the best drowning song? Is it A, Drown-Eyed Girl?
Drown-Eyed Girl.
B, When You're Feeling Blue? Sinatra one. C, You've Lost That Buoyant Feeling. D, I'm No Longer on a Boat. Or is it E, Aqualung?
Jethro Hull. Jethro Hull is
Thanks,
E.
sir.
Jethro Hull.
Thank you.
Is what I said,
Clever.
everybody. Hull.
Jethro
He
Hall is
missed
good.
Creedence Clearwater Revival on that one, though. Have you ever seen The Rain? That would have been a good one.
The boat catches on fire. It's smoke on the water.
It's gotta be. It's gotta be Aqualung by Jethro Hull. That's brilliant.
It is. That is correct. Obviously, the one that Heath had a better pun on than me, even though I wrote mine out in the first place, was definitely the right answer. Damn it.
There's the flute.
All right. Dying on a boat is, I just learned today, about more than just drowning. What are some other ways you can die on a boat other than being crushed by a piano or catching on fire or being paddled to death like a naughty secretary? Okay. A, flying fish somehow. B, maybe a horse. C, a ziggurat. D,
what?
Fuck, seriously, I don't even know. None of this should have possibly happened. People were just stupid back then.
I'm going to go with C, a ziggurat.
It is a flying fish somehow. I'm sorry. We're not sure, but it could. They're in the water.
Yeah.
Definitely.
And then out of the water, it's very surprising.
Absolutely.
Yeah, more likely than a ziggurat anyway. I feel like there was a clue there.
I just like the word ziggurat. That's why it's in there.
That's a candy bar, right?
It's delicious. It's got a lot of
I love
nugget
that
in there.
one.
I'm picturing a
Delicious.
giant pyramid just hopping up out of the water like a shark eating Samuel Jackson.
But this thing is, it's a pyramid made out of those kids full of life jackets. Chuck another one in there.
Oh, so then it was C.
Yeah, they were all cheerleaders.
But you said it was A first, so that means that you were the first to stump our expert in this totally spontaneously
Sure I was.
scoring system that we've created. Yeah. No, it just so happens that it always ends up being the next guy in order. So you get to take over hosting next week, Tom, and you get to decide who has to learn new shit.
All right, well, that's great. I haven't read any incomprehensible gibberish lately. Let's pick Eli.
Jean, Benet, Ramsey.
Oh, no.
And after that edit, I'll toss it over to Sarah for last week's Twitter answer and this week's Twitter question.
Thanks, Noah. Last week's assignment was to write a haiku for the Lost Causers to help them rewrite history through poetry. We had so many great answers, it was hard to choose just one, so here are two of our favorites. The first was from Shy Not Shy on Twitter. Hey dude, I need slaves. Slaves? Just kidding, I mean friends. Brown friends work for free. The next is from Cindy Hartman Lynch on Twitter, who wrote, I thought the winners got to write the history books. Apparently not. Thanks to everyone for submitting haikus. This week's question is, what was the name of the apocryphal clown that supposedly tipped the Eastland over? And what was his act? Just retweet or Facebook share this episode with your answer for a chance to be next week's winner. Back to you, Noah.
All right, well, thank you, Sarah. And for Cecil, Heath, Eli, and Tom, I'm Noah Illusions. Thanking you for hanging out with us today. We're going to be back next week, and by then, Eli will be an expert on something else. Between now and then, check out the shows that Eli, Heath, and I produce, The Skeptocrat, God Awful Movies, and The Scathing Atheist. And you can check out Tom and Cecil's other show, Cognitive Dissonance, as well. If you have time after all our shows, you can do that one last. And if you'd like to help keep this show going, you can make a per-episode donation at patreon.com/citationpod or leave us a 5-star review everywhere you can. And if you'd like to get in touch with us, check out past episodes, connect with us on social media, or check the show notes. Be sure to check out citationpod.com.
Are you still mad about the boat thing? Cecil, are you still mad about the boat thing?
Mr. Nipple says don't be sad. You'll get a brand new studio real soon.
Don't do Mr. Nipples. I do not want to talk to Mr. Nipples.
Oh. Mr. Nipple says don't be sad. You'll get a brand new studio real soon.
Tom is laughing. I can't do it. Tom's laughing. Tom.
I got to look away.
Tom.
I got to look away.
All right, be quiet, Tom.
Okay,
Tom!
You
gotta be quiet.
I'm going behind the paywall.
You gotta be quiet. Don't do Mr. Nipples. I do not want to talk to Mr. Nipples.
Oh.
Oh, amazing.
Hey, I'm Ryan Reynolds.
Recently, I asked Mint Mobile's legal team if big wireless companies are allowed to raise prices due to inflation. They said yes. And then when I asked if raising prices technically violates those onerous 2-year contracts, they said, "What the f*** are you talking about, you insane Hollywood ass?" So to recap, we're cutting the price of Mint Unlimited from $30 a month to just $15 a month.
Give it a try at mintmobile.com/switch.
$45 upfront payment equivalent to $15 per month. New customers on first 3-month plan only. Taxes and fees extra. Speed slower above 40 gigabytes. See details.